Before starting to explore Ubuntu and GNOME Desktop, there are a couple of things we need to do to make our VirtualBox experience smoother. Enabling bidirectional clipboard allows us to share the clipboard between the host and the VirtualBox guest. Similarly, the bidirectional drag and drop support allows us to drag and drop files between them. Both the shared clipboard and drag and drop settings can be found under the Devices menu. The next thing we need to do is installing guest additions. Guest additions is required for certain things like graphics drivers to function properly in VirtualBox. This again is found under Devices. Select Insert Guest Addition CD image, which mounts the ISO, and we get prompted for auto run. Then click Run, enter your password, and wait for the installation to complete. And hit enter. As now we are done with the installation of guest additions, we can unmount the ISO. Right-click the CD icon on the desktop and select Eject. Another nice-to-have feature is shared folders. To enable it, go to Devices and Shared Folders, then click the folder icon with a plus on it on the right-hand side. In the folder path drop-down, select Other and navigate to the folder you want to share with the guest. And in the folder name text box, give a name to the shared folder. Then tick Auto Mount and make permanent options so this shared folder is mounted after every restart. We need a restart for these changes to take effect. So on the top right, click the group of buttons, select the power button and click Restart. After restart, we've got a new icon on the desktop for the shared folder. Let's double click on it, and as you see, it is empty. Let me quickly jump to the host side, create a file, put some text into it, come back to guest, refresh the contents by F5, open the new file and see the contents. So as you see, our shared folder is working and you can copy files back and forth by using this. Okay, now let's start exploring our GNOME desktop environment. For example, if you click the time on the top bar, it brings up the calendar. When you right-click on the desktop, we get a list of options like create a new folder, open a terminal, or organize the desktop icons by name. Similar to Windows, we've got a recycle bin, or rubbish bin as called here, so we can restore deleted files or empty it by right-clicking on it. One of the first things you'd want to check on your newly installed system is your network connectivity. Click the group of icons on top right, select Wired or Wireless Connection Settings. This takes you to the Network Settings UI. By clicking the cog icon, you can see the connection information like your IP address, default route, and DNS. If you've got multiple network interfaces or connections, you can give a name to this particular one or change network settings like your DHCP or DNS. Another feature that you should be aware of is the Search and Show Applications menu. If you click the 9 dots on the bottom left, it shows the currently installed applications and also brings up a search bar. By typing the name of the application you're looking for, you can quickly find and launch it from here. For example, we've got a fully functional calculator. If you've got multiple applications open, you can cycle through them by Alt-Tab or Alt-Tab-Shift in the counterclockwise direction. Another cool feature of the search bar is, if the application you typed is not installed, but there's a candidate for install, it is displayed. For example, if I type gmrun, I see that it's available to install under Ubuntu Software Center. So let's first install it, then launch. gmrun, by the way, is a task launcher, and I need it to demonstrate the next cool feature. I think we all have experienced the annoying situation where an application is unresponsive and we can't kill it. For such troubles, we've got a little handy app called Xkill. If you launch it, it gives you a crosshatch, and whichever application window you click on, it just kills it straight away. Let's see. Let's do it again by launching gmrun and Xkill and kill the terminal. When you need help before going online, we can also try built-in Ubuntu help. On your desktop, you can either press F1 or click on the question mark icon on the left-hand side dock. Then you are presented with the Ubuntu help page. Whenever you can spare some time, I'd advise you to have a more detailed look. Having mentioned the dock on the left-hand side, as you see, it is permanently there, but we can change this behavior. If you go to search, type dock and click on it, then we get to see the dock settings. By flicking the auto hide switch, we can change this behavior. For example, let's turn on auto hide, make an application full screen, and as you see, when we go full screen, the dock is hidden, and when we minimize it, the dock appears again. If we turn it back off and make the application full screen again, as you see, the dock is still there. There is also a central settings menu which we can access from search. Under this menu, we can control different desktop and system settings. For example, you can change your desktop background, adjust which applications can generate notifications, or which areas are covered in search, like if you want what you're searching for is to be looked for in files, password and keys, terminal, and software center. We can also manage installed languages and regional settings. If you click Manage Installed Languages, we get prompted to install the language pack as it is not installed before, but this is only required once. Then, from the language list, you can install additional languages. Back to the main settings menu, and here under sound, we can control different sound options like your output and input devices. For example, your headphones, speakers, and microphone. We can also adjust the power saving options under the Power tab, or we can access the very same network settings from here as well. You can also display and change settings of your peripherals like screen, keyboard, mouse, touchpad, printers, and so on. Or get different system information like your memory, processor, operating system type, or disk size. You can also change user settings, but first you need to unlock it with your password. Another thing you would need is managing software updates. You can find it by typing update in the search box and selecting software update. There are no updates available now, so let's have a look at the settings. Before we get to the repos, let's have a look at the official sources. As you see, they are also grouped as free, proprietary, and restricted drivers. So if you don't want to install software from any of these sources, you can disable them. Under Other Software tab, we get to see the list of available repos. Canonical Partners is disabled by default, but it usually is safe to enable. Canonical, by the way, is the company who makes and maintains Ubuntu. Ubuntu package maintainers publish their releases as PPA links, so whatever package you're interested in, you should find the link for the Ubuntu distro you're using. You can also modify the update related settings under the Updates tab, like which sources to use, how often to check, what to do when there's an update, and also if you get notified when there's a new Ubuntu release. Under the Authentication tab, you see a list of key fingerprints. These ensure that you are downloading software from genuine sources. Under the Additional Drivers tab, you see a list of proprietary drivers which normally are disabled. You have to agree vendors' licensing terms to enable them. Live Patch is a relatively new feature. It allows you to get kernel updates and apply them without having to restart the system. This probably isn't very critical for desktop users, but for servers where the uptime is vital, Live Patch feature makes a change. To enable it, get a free Ubuntu account, sign in, get your ID, and use it here. Linux distributions also come with a terminal. It is similar to Windows command line prompt and allows you to do operations from the command line interface. This terminal application allows us to create multiple tabs so we can do different operations independently and switch between tabs back and forth. You can activate the Ubuntu Software Center from the dock on the left-hand side. It is a graphical tool that allows you to install and remove applications as well as viewing the currently installed ones. For tasks like taking quick notes and editing simple text files, we've got gedit. You can activate it from the search menu as usual. This, of course, is for simple tasks. If you need Office applications, Ubuntu ships with LibreOffice, which is also free. LibreOffice package contains a word processor as well as spreadsheet, drawing, and presentation tools. The file browser is also quite easy to use. It lists some shortcuts on the left-hand side for your home, desktop, and some other locations. If you want to browse the whole file system, select Other Locations at the bottom left and then click Computer. Most of these folders you see under the root are system folders, and as a normal user, you only have read access. So normally, you don't create files under these folders. However, in most Linux distributions, there's a home folder under root, and inside home, you find folders for each enabled user, and that's where the users keep their files. To play locally stored music files or listen to online broadcasts or content, you can use Rhythmbox. We, of course, can browse internet as well, and Firefox is the default installed browser. You can also install Chromium, Google Chrome, Tor, and some others if you like. Remmina is a remote desktop client which allows you to connect to remote machines via RDP, VNC, and SSH protocols. The System Monitor tool is quite handy when you want to monitor live resource usage. You can sort the running processes by their resource usage, like CPU or memory. We can also display live resource usage as graphs. File system usage breakdown is also available under System Monitor. Disk usage tool can also be used to get detailed information about disk usages. There is another tool called Disks, which allows you to visualize and manage physical disk and associated partition information. To gain more experience, keep playing around, search online, and feel free to ask me questions.